James Larson, a solitary man with silver hair, lived in the quiet town of Grand Marais, Minnesota, near the serene Ripple River. On weekends, he'd load his weathered pickup truck with fishing gear and drive to the river to unwind. James cherished the tranquility of nature, the crisp air, the gentle flow of water, and the rustle of leaves. A reserved man, he found peace in the simplicity of the outdoors, far from the clamor of daily life. It was a warm Sunday morning in summer, the sky a vibrant blue, the river's surface glassy and still, reflecting the golden sunlight. James pushed his small rowboat from the reedy shore, settling in for his usual fishing trip. He cast his line, the rod resting lightly in his hands as he watched ripples dance across the water. The air was calm, filled with the soft chirping of birds, the hum of dragonflies, and the occasional clink of his fishing gear. Closing his eyes, James breathed deeply, savoring the scent of pine, damp earth, and the cool mist rising from the Ripple River. Catching fish wasn't his priority. Silence was the true treasure. Suddenly, a sharp cry pierced the stillness, jolting James upright. The sound echoed across the river, desperate and pained, like a small creature in distress. His heart quickened as he scanned the water, eyes narrowing to pinpoint the source. In the distance, he noticed a patch of churning water as if something was thrashing helplessly. Without hesitation, James rowed toward it, his calloused hands gripping the oars, his mind racing with urgency. As he drew closer, he spotted a young fawn struggling in the current, its body limp, eyes closed. At first, he feared it was too late, but a faint instinct urged him to act. Leaning over the boat's edge, he carefully pulled the fawn toward him, lifting its cold, soaked body aboard. Placing a hand on its chest, he felt a faint, fragile heartbeat. Quickly, he wrapped the fawn in his jacket to keep it warm, propping it upright against the boat's side. Fishing forgotten, James turned toward shore, his movement swift but steady, the boat slicing through the water. As he rowed, he murmured soft words of comfort, hoping the fawn could sense his intent to save it. The river seemed endless now, each shallow breath from the fawn stretching time. Reaching the bank, James cradled the fawn and hurried to his truck, parked beneath a cluster of spruce trees, their needles carpeting the ground. He laid the fawn on the passenger seat, draped a blanket over it, and started the engine, speeding toward the nearest veterinary clinic in Grand Marais, a 20-minute drive through winding forest roads. Glancing at the fawn as he drove, James saw its weak breathing and whispered, "Hold on, little one, you're almost there." His hands tightened on the wheel, his mind focused on the fragile life beside him. At the clinic, he rushed inside, calling for help. 2 staff members hurried out, helping him carry the fawn into the clean, brightly lit facility. A young veterinarian, Dr. Emily Carter, took charge, placing the fawn on an examination table. She checked its heartbeat with a stethoscope, her movements precise, and called for her team to assist. James stood nearby, his breath held, watching every action with anxious hope. The clinic hummed with activity, machines beeping, Dr. Carter issuing rapid instructions in medical terms. James never imagined a fishing trip would lead to such a critical moment. The doctor explained that the fawn had water in its lungs and was in critical condition, but there was still hope. They used a suction device to clear the fluid, administered IV fluids, and injected medication to stabilize its heart. The fawn twitched faintly, a small sign of life. James reached out, gently touching its leg, willing it to keep fighting. Dr. Carter looked up, her voice steady but encouraging. "You got here just in time. A few more minutes and we might have lost it." A nurse brought warm towels and a heating pad, placing them around the shivering fawn. After about 30 minutes, the fawn's eyes fluttered open, taking in the unfamiliar surroundings. The room erupted in quiet cheers, and James let out a relieved sigh, a smile breaking across his weathered face. Dr. Carter stroked the fawn's head, murmuring, "Welcome back, little fighter." They kept the fawn under observation for several hours, monitoring its breathing and responses. James asked about caring for it if he took it home temporarily. The doctor provided detailed instructions on feeding, hygiene, and monitoring its health. her voice calm and reassuring. "You can apply for temporary adoption if you're committed to its recovery," she said. James nodded, signing the necessary forms with a sense of duty in his eyes, his heart warmed by the responsibility. Before leaving, the staff gave the fawn another injection to aid its recovery and helped James carry it to his truck, now nestled on a soft towel. Dr. Carter outlined warning signs to watch for, and James listened intently, his mind already planning the fawn's care. As he closed the truck door, he looked at the fawn and said softly, "You've got a friend in me now." Back home, James prepared a cozy corner in his living room, laying out a blanket, a heating lamp, and a bottle of warm milk. He gently fed the fawn, which suckled weakly, its eyes still drowsy. James sat beside it, stroking its forehead, watching its every breath with care. The next day, the fawn stood shakily, taking tentative steps across the worn wooden floor. James named it Aspen, after the trees that swayed gently in the breeze outside his home, their leaves whispering in the wind. Each day, James tended to Aspen, feeding it, cleaning it, and taking it for short walks in his yard, where wildflowers dotted the grass. He kept a notebook to track its progress, noting every small improvement with quiet pride. Neighbors stopped by, amazed to see a fawn in James's home, their voices filled with wonder. For James, this was more than a rescue. It was a bond with nature itself, a reminder of life's fragility and resilience. As weeks passed, Aspen grew stronger, walking confidently and exploring the house with curiosity, its delicate hooves tapping softly. James knew Aspen belonged in the wild. He contacted the Cascade River State Park, a nearby preserve with a deer habitat. A ranger named Sarah Thompson agreed to take Aspen, ensuring it would thrive in a natural setting. They arranged to meet on a Saturday morning at the park's north entrance in Lutsen, Minnesota, where the forest met open meadows. James drove with Aspen beside him, its eyes gazing out the window at the passing trees. Sarah greeted them warmly, placing a gentle hand on Aspen's head. After a brief quarantine, Aspen would join a herd. At the park, James watched as Aspen took cautious steps toward other deer. A young buck approached, sniffing Aspen and giving a friendly nudge. James turned away, his eyes misty, emotions welling up as he felt both loss and fulfillment. Sarah thanked him for his compassion, noting that not everyone would go so far to save a life. James shrugged modestly, saying, "I just did what felt right." Before leaving, he whispered to Aspen, "You're strong now. Live well out there." James returned to his fishing routine, but the Ripple River felt different now, its waters carrying a deeper meaning. He walked alone, yet no longer felt the weight of solitude. Aspen had left behind a quiet gift, a reminder of the connection between humans and the wild. When asked about his life, James would share the story of that summer morning, a tale of how one small act could ripple into something profound. Thank you for reading this story. Please like and subscribe to support more tales like this.